Alright, welcome to another episode of Drew's Brews Reviews. Be sure to check out my new website at drewsbrewsreviews.com for both video and written beer reviews, along with some other beer information, some homebrewing stuff, and just something I've kind of started out, so a good place to check out more videos if you'd like. Now, what I have for you today is something very, very special. This is from America's first and only Trappist beer brewery. This is from St. Joseph's Abbey in Spencer, Massachusetts, so it's known as Spencer Trappist Ale. They were officially recognized, I think, in 2013. Now, before I get too much into this beer, you may want to know what exactly a Trappist beer is.
As of 2014, there are a total of 10 Trappist breweries. They are Rochefort, Orville, Ockel, Westmalle, Engelsville, La Trappa, Maria Tovelupt, or Zundert, Chimay, Westfaletteren, and of course, Spencer.
There are a number of different elements that a monastic brewery needs to adhere to be considered a Trappist brewery by the International Trappist Brewery Association.
The beer must be brewed within a Trappist monastery. The brewery cannot be the main function of the monastery, meaning that the brewery is only secondary and the monastery still functions as a working monastery with monks in it. And third, the brewery has to be non-profit, meaning that the money made goes towards maintaining the monks' lifestyle, repairing the monastery, or is donated to a charitable organization.
So really, those are the three main things that you have to be Trappist. So that's kind of what separates it from being just a Abbey Ale. The Spencer beer here from St. Joseph's, they kind of have a long history of being in, I think, Belgium and France, and they had moved all over the place. They had some fires multiple times, actually, in multiple locations. Even after I think they came over to the U.S., they came over to Rhode Island, actually, Cumberland, Rhode Island area, had some fire problems, and then they eventually settled into the area of Massachusetts and Spencer, which they currently are at. So that's kind of their journey to America and why we have a Trappist beer such as this. So for this particular beer, to go over some of the beer facts here.
The ABV is a drinkable 6.5%. The cost is between $4 and $5. The bottle recommends a serving temperature of 40 degrees, and the availability is year-round.
Now, because this is a single beer, only 12-ounce bottle here, I'm not going to try a bunch of different glassware. They have a glass that they specifically market to drink this beer out of. I don't think it's commercially available as of the time of this taping. It may be now if you go check their website. But I looked at it, and it is essentially just a wine glass. You could probably also be fine drinking it out of a goblet or chalice, but this is pretty darn close to what they use, so I'm just going to go ahead and use this for this particular experience. So I think we are ready then to give this one a pour, so let's see how it looks. Really fluffy, very gassy beer, typical of the Belgian style, so not really surprised there. Really a lovely, lovely orange caramel color to it, pretty hazy, a lot of proteins floating around in there. I can see some bubbles rising up. The head's retaining pretty strong. It's bubbling down a little bit. The head's calmed down a bit on this, but I'm going to go ahead and give this one a smell. Alright, real nice smell, typical of a good Belgian beer. And it's actually fairly mild and pretty well balanced. Now, I'm not getting any kind of aromas that I'm not used to in these type of beers. Belgian yeast, a little bit on the sweeter side. Just a little bit of banana, a little bit of a clovey spice to it. Also a little bit of citrus that's in that sweetness that goes along with the kind of the clovey spice. The banana's really in the background that's here. It does have a sweeter side to it, so we'll see if that follows through on the taste for this. Wow, after the just initial taste that I've had of this is really refreshing. It makes sense that a Trappist beer could kind of be a sessionable beer. This is pretty darn close to it. It does have some aggressive carbonation in it like you'd expect, but it's not too much. It's not overly gassy. And really nice carbonation, really nice yeast level without becoming too sweet. It's a little bready, not quite biscuity. There's a little bit of a banana in there. Just the smallest bit of spice It's definitely a dry finish to it. It doesn't stick around, doesn't overstay its welcome. You do leave just a little bit of the bready yeast on your tongue. It has just the hint of sweetness with it, but really just pleasant all the way around. Not incredibly complex. It's not doing anything really outside the realm of other Trappist beers or Belgians or Abbey beers, but just doing it in a really drinkable, great way. It's definitely a really good beer. It is a little bit soft. Belgians tend to be that way, especially with the gasiness and the carbonation. Really kind of rounds out and blends the flavors a little bit more. It's not as sharp. It's not a very in-your-face or crisp beer. Everything is kind of real muddled, mixed together, but that's kind of how the Belgian style is, and that's what makes this kind of a real tasty, well-rounded beers, is that softness. Definitely worth trying. And if, like I said, if you're going to get into the Trappist beers or into Belgians or know someone that wants to, great place to start right here. Really subdued, really tasty, refreshing, great beer to have on a warm day. It's not going to put you under the table, and at 6.5% makes this a real drinkable. You could have 2-3 of these. The only thing that might hold you back a little bit is just the gasiness level that really happens with the Belgians in general. So I think that's really all there is to say about this damn tasty beer. For Spencer Trappist Ale and St. Joseph's Abbey and Drew's Brew Reviews. Cheers.
Go to drewsbrewsreviews.com for more video and written beer reviews. Follow me on Twitter at Drew Brew Reviews, leave off the first 2 S's for savings, for the latest on big beer releases and PA events.